Great. Welcome to the webinar today, everyone. I'll go ahead and turn you over to your host for today and let them introduce themselves, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Hi, everyone, and happy Friday. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon before the weekend kicks off. So today we're going to be focusing on the power of integrating Northspyre and Yardi and our two-way integration. So before we get started, I just wanted to call your attention to some of the upcoming training sessions that we'll be hosting from this Friday until the end of April. In particular, April 5th, we'll be focusing on all of our recent product updates and all of the hard work that we put into the recent product set. And then we'll be concluding on April 26th with getting the most out of the report builder. We'd love to see you on subsequent sessions. So if you'd like to be a part of any of those, please reach out to your RETC and we will get you a link over to the landing page to register. So just some quick introductions before we get started. My name is Kara. I'm a real estate transformation consultant over at Northspyre. I'm local to the New York City area, and my customers are primarily in the Mid-Atlantic area, New England area, and New York City metro area. Prior to joining Northspyre, I have a background in development consulting as well as MEP engineering.
And hi, everyone. I'm Eileen, and I'm the product manager here overlooking the integrations team. So I work closely with a lot of developers using a large range of our accounting softwares. I'm based out of New York City as well, and prior to Northspyre, I worked at Deutsche Bank with some other previous work experiences in financial technology.
So just a rough agenda of what we'll go over during today's webinar is what exactly is an integration, ways that you can unify your accounting and development teams by using Northspyre and our two-way integration with Yardi. Then we'll jump into a product demo with Eileen and show you how you can sync your invoices, vendors, commitments, and budget transaction, as well as track payment information between Northspyre and Yardi. If we have any time left, we will open it up to Q&A. So let's get started. So some key learning outcomes that we hope that you will walk away with today are an understanding of Northspyre and our two-way integration capabilities with Yardi, how you can adopt a workflow to seamlessly integrate your two platforms, unify your accounting and development teams, eliminate duplicative work, and ensure consistency between invoice amounts and payments with our automatic syncing, how you can leverage Northspyre for financial accounting, vendor management, and cost management, and how you can actually sync vendors, budget lines, invoices, commitments, and budget transactions between Northspyre and Yardi. So we welcome you to log in and follow along. I'll do some brief introductions, and then Eileen will take it away with the demo, so you're welcome to follow along with her click path. So first, I want to cover what is an integration. A software integration is the process of connecting two discrete software applications, typically through an API. So when we say that we have a bi-directional integration with Yardi, we are enabling Northspyre to talk to Yardi and Yardi to talk back to Northspyre, and as a result, allow your accounting and development teams to quickly pay invoices and see that payment reflected back into Northspyre without any manual entry. So by using our two-way integration, we hope that you can unify your accounting and development teams. As I mentioned in the beginning, I do have a background in development, and the process around the monthly requisition was usually that after the development team had compiled everything, we would then turn all of this information over to accounting, who would then be responsible for manually keying all this information into their accounting platform, cutting checks. Once the checks and wires were sent out, all of that corresponding payment information would be provided back to the development team, who would then have to unify that information with what was shown in the accounting system. As you can see, this leads to both the accounting and the development team doing duplicative work, and also leaves you open to the potential of human error and any miskeys. By using the two-way integration, you can automatically sync this information and ensure that accounting and development are always looking at one universal source of truth. So just want to show this slide very quickly. Basically, in summary, this is how much time on average over the course of a year an accounting and development team would spend towards compiling monthly requisition processes. In particular, I wanted to call your attention to number 19, which is 51 hours on average if you are paying on a monthly requisition cycle. This is at least 4 hours a month, and to just inputting costs into the accounting system in order to cut checks. By using our two-way integration, we hope to drastically cut down on this number as well as minimize any effects of human error or miskeys. So Eileen is going to show us a demo, and the outcome of this demo, we will show you how you can sync your vendors, invoices, commitments, and budget transactions from Northspyre to Yardi, and how you can track payments within Northspyre from Yardi. So log in and follow along.
All right, so just like Kara said, our integrations eliminate manual, duplicative work, and human error. So you can leverage Northspyre for all of your financial accounting, vendor management, and cost management. Let's dive into this demo now so I can show you all how this works in Northspyre. And again, feel free to log in and follow along as I go through these steps. So to start, I'll give you a quick overview of the one-time setup steps that will ensure that budget line, cost code, and vendor information between Yardi and Northspyre will sync accurately without requiring you to adjust anything about how those values are logged in each platform. After this call, you can obviously ask your real estate transformation consultant for our reference guide with more detailed instructions. So let's begin with the budget line setup. Like I mentioned, this is a one-time setup step that ensures that your budget lines in Northspyre will properly map to your accounting codes. So I'll navigate to my budget categorizations page here, and I'll click on Update Cost Codes Accounting. Once I click here, I'll be able to set my Yardi codes. And as you can see here, this is your management page where we map each Northspyre budget line to the respective expense account and property code. If you use Yardi job cost, we also have mappings to your Yardi job codes and category codes. We have additional optional fields like retainage account and expense type so that you can also be as detailed as you want when syncing information between Northspyre and Yardi. Northspyre has a dedicated setup team that can set this all up for you as long as your team provides us with a file of the correct mappings. And once your budget lines are set up, we ensure that all information synced between the two platforms is accurate, preventing any discrepancies. If any mappings change or new budget lines are added to your project, you have complete freedom to adjust those values from this page. And we make it seamless and easy for you by populating each of these fields with a dropdown of values pulled directly from Yardi. Now, the second and final setup step is syncing your Northspyre vendors to your Yardi vendors. Again, the purpose of this mapping is to ensure that we have an accurate mapping between our two platforms without requiring you to adjust anything about the way that vendors are named in either platform. So I'll navigate now to my vendor management page if you want to follow along. And you'll see here that vendors from your paired Yardi project are automatically pulled into your Northspyre project as unapproved vendors in this list here in the right side tab. So we want to ensure that you have complete oversight into whether or not these vendors are added to your Northspyre project. So we give you the freedom to approve these vendors either by linking these vendors to an existing Northspyre vendor, adding this vendor as a new vendor altogether, or doing nothing and leaving them as unapproved vendors, in which case they are not synced into your project at all. And once these vendors are approved and synced, you will see them in the approved vendor list here on the left with the clear indication of which vendors are linked in the linked column here. From here, all transactions coming into your data inbox will have the correct vendor association. Again, our dedicated setup team can assist in the setup step for you, but anytime new vendors are added to Yardi, we automatically pull those vendors into the unapproved vendor list, giving you complete control into how these vendors are logged. From this page as well, it's very easy to just directly click on a Northspyre vendor and link that to a new vendor that was added to Yardi. So now that my two simple setup steps are complete, our integration with Yardi empowers you to seamlessly sync vendor invoice, payment, commitment, and budget transaction information between Yardi and Northspyre accurately without any manual or duplicative work. Managing your invoices and commitments becomes a breeze. So let's navigate now to the invoice data index here to check out this workflow. Our recommended workflow is for invoices and commitments to originate in Northspyre so that you can use your existing workflows of approving items in the data inbox and verifying all the metadata before items are entered into Yardi and payments are finalized. We offer flexibility in the case where this workflow wouldn't work, which I will cover later on, but I will walk you through the workflow of sending invoices to accounting to start. So after invoices are approved into your Northspyre project, you can manage them all here in your invoice data index. So just a quick overview to start of this page. In your data index, Northspyre is committed to making your workflow easy and efficient. So these column options here on the left allow you to toggle on and off different columns so that it's flexible to your needs and it's saved for the next time that you come to this page. As you can see, I have a couple of my accounting specific columns turned on like cost code, accounting status, my Yardi columns, and payments. Again, this is completely flexible to your needs. Next, you can apply one or many filters at once to filter your view and narrow your search, or you can also use the search bar to directly pinpoint specific invoices. Our grand total here at the bottom of the table is dynamic as well, so you can easily see the cumulative amount of select groups of invoices as you filter or search. The cost code column here, as you can see, allows you to track which cost codes align in your Yardi system. The accounting status here gives you complete visibility into the invoice statuses as they relate to Yardi. So open invoices have not yet been sent to Yardi, pending invoices have been sent, and finally, paid invoices have both been sent and paid in Yardi. So sending open invoices to Yardi takes just the click of a button. I can select whichever invoices I want, and I've made one for today's March 15th. When I select this invoice, you'll see that I can directly just send to accounting. When I do so, I can verify all of my selections. You can see that I can select my export type, whether that's invoice, adjustment, or credit. And the moment I press send, you should see these invoices immediately in your Yardi payables. So I'll give this a moment to send, and then I'll log into my Yardi system so that you can see what this invoice might look like. As you can see, I have my success message. So once I verify that that's been sent successfully, I'll go to my Yardi and I'll locate my invoice like so. So just for reference, the invoice I sent has the invoice number 03152024, today's date. And let me locate that invoice first. And I'll sort by amount so that it's easier for me to locate that $315 invoice. It looks like I have to go to the second page. So once I do, you'll see the 315 that I entered. I'll click on that invoice and you'll see that I have all of my information verified here, like the total. If I go to the detail view, you'll see that all of the information related to this invoice, like the vendor, invoice number, expense type, total amount, dates, descriptions are all here. I can also look at any of the backup information by going to the third-party invoice image to see that backup PDF. So an awesome feature that really comes with our integration here is the robust error handling on Northspire's end. So before we send over your selected invoices, we will make sure that there are no issues with your invoices that would prevent them from importing into Yardi. For example, let me try to resend that invoice that I just sent. You'll see that once I select any invoices that have already been sent, Northspyre will let you know before they leave your system. So I have a couple here sent, which have already been sent, as you can see with the pending status. And the moment I send to accounting, you'll see that those invoice has been flagged by saying that this invoice has already been sent to Yardi vendor invoicing. We prevent any human error on this side because, as you can see, once I press send to accounting, we prevent you from sending any duplicates or sending any invoices with incorrect or missing information. We make this error messaging very clear so that you know exactly off the bat how to resolve these issues. Now, for invoices that are sent to Yardi, you can use your existing workflows to handle your account payables and send out payments. Those payments will automatically be synced into Northspyre without any manual work. So our invoice data index now acts as your single source of truth in a single hub where you can manage all of the information related to your invoice. If I click into my invoice details, for example, I can see any of my backup documentation if I have it, all of the metadata, component breakdown, and all of my payment history. So see here, if I find an invoice that was paid in Yardi, I will have that information here populated in the table with the check number and the correct date. From this page, I can also look at any related comments or approval workflows if this invoice underwent an approval workflow in my data inbox. So with all of this information housed in Northspyre, we now have all of this information available at your fingertips across the platform from your anticipated cost report to your vendor overview to your report builder. And because Northspyre is dedicated to offering you the flexibility to fit your integration workflow into your existing workflow seamlessly, another way to send invoices over to accounting is via the draw request page. So let's navigate here now. And from the draw request, it's easy to send invoices that align with a given draw period, with Northspyre, again, eliminating any and all discrepancies for a given draw that you would typically encounter without our integration. So let's say you're at the end of a draw period and you're ready to send out all the payments in this draw in one go. So I'll simply click on View All Current Invoices, where I can now see all of the invoices associated to this draw. I can also see any previous draws by using this filter here. Now I'll click on this purple accounting button, Show Integration Options, and you'll see that I can now select all of my invoices that I would like to send, and I can send that to accounting. Again, we do the exact same thing where we mark any potential errors, such as the fact that this might be a duplicate invoice, and we prevent you from sending any of these items when you hit send invoices. So using this workflow, it's very easy to align your invoice payments with your draw process with minimal additional work and reconcile all invoices across the two platforms instantaneously. Now, syncing commitments with Northspyre is just as easy. Let's navigate now to the commitment index to check this out. All of the functionality that you just saw in the invoice index is mirrored in the commitment index with your table options, your filtering, your search, and your dynamic grand totals. And of course, easy access to your commitment details and backup documents. Just like with invoices, you select the commitment that you would like to send, and it just takes the click of a button to send to accounting. Again, we offer all of the error handling directly from this side. And then you can then access your commitments in Yardi Job Cost. Finally, you can also export your budgets from the budget transaction data index here. So if your budget transaction is an original budget, we will send the transaction as an original budget to Yardi Job Cost. Otherwise, your budget transaction will send over as a budget revision. In the exact same way as all of your other data indexes, I can select whichever items I want to send, and all I have to do is press the Send to Accounting button. So, like I mentioned, the ideal workflow that we recommend is to have invoices and commitments originate in Northspyre before you send them to accounting. This ensures that you can approve all of the information in Northspyre before payments are sent out and finalized in Yardi. However, let's say you have those occasional invoices or commitments that originate in Yardi first. This is not an issue at all, and you don't have to worry about adjusting your workflow. Now, any items originating in your accounting platform will be sent to your data inbox, just like any other transaction. So I'll navigate to my data inbox now, and you'll see that any of those transactions will have a sender that says Yardi. Now, if I click in and it's relevant, you can see that these items can undergo any of the automatic approval workflows, and you can also leverage our Copilot analytics to catch any overruns proactively, and you have complete oversight into what items are accepted into Northspyre before they impact your project. Our goal here at Northspyre really is to just save you time and money. Our integration cuts out hours of manual duplicative work and human error. So we highly encourage you to start saving time today. Reach out to your real estate transformation consultant. We'll send over all the setup instructions, and we'll get your integration up and running in no time. I'll now open it up to questions. I'll give everyone a moment if you want to leave questions in the chat. So I'll wait a few minutes. Otherwise, if there's no questions, we can give you back these 8 minutes. And again, thank you so much for taking the time today to learn more about your Yardi and Northspyre integration capabilities. So we hope this has been useful and look forward to having you guys leverage our powerful accounting tools and hope to see you at our next webinars. And Kara and I will just stick on if anyone has questions, but otherwise, thank you all.